Okay, and people are coming in. I see the attendees number going up.
Awesome.
Welcome everyone who's signing in. Sorry about the cats. Let me make sure everyone can see any messages. Okay, well, while people are still signing on, I guess I will kick it off. I hope that no one had any issues getting in here. We had some technology. It looked like it wasn't going to do a thing, so I wanted to just email you maybe too many times to make sure you got in. So I'm sorry about all the emails, but the most important thing is you got into this webinar. So welcome. My name is Heather McManus. I am owner and founder of the Designers Collaborative. We're a buying collective for interior designers, and I am super happy to be talking about how to leverage vendors and trades for profit and joy. This is so right up my alley, and we have the wonderful Sandra Funk, who is a celebrated design leader. She has her own business, which is House of Funk, and also the interior design standard. So this is the easy button, because after many years of paying professionals to fine tune her system, she is now offering it to everybody and creating this design standard. So it's going to bring you the balance, joy, and profitability that you may be missing in your interior design business, because she has fine-tuned this and is now sharing all these amazing secrets with us. So welcome, Sandra. I'm so happy to hear you today talking about, your vendors and trades. And I think no matter how much we know, you can always learn more. So I'm going to have my little notepad ready. So welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Heather, for having me. It is just always a joy to collaborate with the Designers Collaborative. I have been a member for quite some time, and we're going to dig into the details of why it's so important to have incredible buying power. And that is exactly what TDC does. So welcome. I'm Sandra Funk. This is how to leverage vendors and trades for profit and joy. And we're going to dig right in, shall we? All righty, let's do it. Okay, so again, thank you, Heather and TDC. It is such an honor to be here. And also thank you, all of you. It's a crazy time of year, and I just appreciate you being here and leveling up, learning more. So the question I have for you is, how would your life transform if your business was full of profit and joy? Right? The joy we set out for when we started our own business in the first place, right? We all came from somewhere, another career, working for someone else, maybe even straight out of school. But when we went into business for ourselves, we did it because we wanted to make great money, and we wanted to have that joy in our lives, that joy of taking on the projects that we want, working in our aesthetic, all the things. Yeah, making great money. Do you guys remember? Do you remember those ideas that you had when you first started? I'd love to get you back there. So profit and joy are attainable. Not only are your vendors and trades an extension of your team, but they're also a path to your abundance and your joy in your business. And once you understand these principles, everything is going to shift inside of your firm. How you run your firm now isn't how you'll run it for that next wave of clients that are coming through. With these principles under your belt, again, everything changes. So today, I'm going to share my key strategies for how to identify your core crew of vendors and trades. I'm going to show you those strategies in action. I'm going to share how you can catapult your business forward. And I'm going to have you drop questions into the chat as we go. At the end, we're going to do a Q&A, and we're going to roll through all the things, okay? So feel free to just keep dropping those questions into the chat now, and we'll keep an eye on them as we go. But we're going to wait and answer at the end. So also, you guys, I have an incredible bonus for you today. Stay with me to the end and I'll share how you can get your hands on an incredible custom brand audit. This is where I will personally assess your website and Instagram and offering insights and strategies for a stronger online presence. So again, this is me hands-on with your brand. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you how you can get your hands on that. So you guys, you've registered for this workshop to level up, right? To make improvements in your business. So you owe it to yourself to do just that. Grab your notebook, turn your phone on silent, set it aside, right? And stay focused. Stay right here with me on this tab. I'm pulling back the curtain and sharing exactly how I broke into the luxury market and use vendors and trades to really leverage making better profits in my business and giving me a ton more joy when I'm working with the ideal vendors and trades. So here's a little bit about me before we dive in too deep. Growing up, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know exactly what that looked like. I didn't know what the business should be. So I got a degree in finance from Michigan State, my hometown college. And at graduation, I still didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I went into business process consulting at Accenture, one of the top 5 business consulting firms at the time. And I helped businesses like Fortune 500 companies like GE Capital become more efficient and more profitable. As I was working on business efficiency and all of that, all of the move was going to the web. This just dates me because it was in the late 90s, right? And everything was on web at the time. And it was so early in web development and web usability that there weren't even courses yet. Crazy long time ago. And it led me to study at Parsons in New York City in the design department, because at the time I was being told by my mentors, go study design because things like, workflow and layouts and color theory were helping to inform web design. And of course, I fell head over heels in love with interior design and left my career in consulting and went down the rabbit hole of design. I worked in retail in the showrooms for other designers and then started my own company, House of Funk, in 2005. I built that business to 7 figures, a great team, beautiful little studio, and have been honored to be featured in national publications like AD Pro and Elle Decor. And I couldn't do any of it without my adorable family. Mostly my dog and bunny ears is the adorable part, but also my darling husband. I met Jay in college and we've been together since I was like 19. Followed careers to New York City and stayed in that area for about 20 years and moved mid-pandemic to Tennessee, south of Nashville. And we have 2 teen daughters who keep us running, a dog, adorable with bunny ears on, and a horse. Don't ask. All right, and today you'll find me sharing all the lessons I learned and how I grew my business at national design events and workshops just like this. And you'll find me empowering and educating design entrepreneurs with the Interior Design Standard. We are over 800 members and 17 countries and counting. And you can see I'm one of the tiny humans in this picture. There's about, 65, 70 of us at a members only event in High Point, just having a ball. So let's dig in, you guys. How do you identify your core crew of vendors and trades for better relationships, profit, and joy? Start by building a network of vendors. Go to market, go to the design centers, spend time wandering and looking for new vendors. I also love cruising the high-end neighborhoods where you desire to have more projects and snapping a picture of those trucks, because all of those vendors are working in those high-end neighborhoods. That's a great place to start your research, right? Attend vendor presentations to figure out who has great products and a great vibe, right? We don't just want to work with someone who's got the latest and greatest. We also want to work with someone who's a good person, has good vibes, great communication, stands behind their product. Once you know who your people are, dig in. Create more volume for them. So one of the big important things that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we make their life better and their business better, and we bring them repeat clients. So in turn, they make our life better, they make our business better, and they bring us repeat clients as well, right? There's synergy when we help each other. So the way that we're going to help them is we're going to help create more volume for them by bringing them referrals. We're going to support their efforts. If they're throwing a party, we're going to attend. If they're, having a webinar like this, we're going to help them promote it. We're going to tag them on social media. So for instance, I'm showing you a picture of a beautiful den that I did, right? 99.9% of the product that goes into my jobs are to the trade only products. So I'm totally comfortable tagging the sofa, the chair, the lamp, the wallpaper, because I am using protected to the trade products from vendors and trades that I know have my back. So because I know that if a client picks up the phone to buy direct, they're not going to be able to, I can tag them in social media and help promote them. They love this. They very much appreciate this. So if you're using vendors and trades that you can tag, by all means do so. It can only improve your relationship. Woo them. Woo your vendors and trades. Okay. Don't just think, what are you going to do for me? How can you help me? Can I get that sample? But also, you're creating a relationship. It is built on trust, know, like, trust, and flow. And what do I mean by woo? So woo is when we build that relationship. Again, know, like, trust, and flow. Know, like, trust, they get to know you, right? You vibe together. You guys are on the same wavelength. You trust each other. They stand behind their product. You do what you say you're going to do. You pay when you're supposed to, right? We build trust. And then flow is staying in touch. So staying in touch could be, again, showing up to their party, inviting them to yours, tagging them on social, commenting, liking, promoting what they're working on, right? Stopping into their showroom to say hello, sending a holiday card, inviting them to a party, all the things, right? So you're doing all these wonderful things to make the relationship better, but you're also going to be asking them for a deeper discount, right? If you are continuously bringing them work, referrals, benefit, you're going to say to them, and I know I'm getting the XYZ standard interior design discount. Is there a deeper option, right? Is there a buying level that would allow me to make better profit margin on the same relationship that we have now? So you're gonna, it's kind of the idea of this woo is give, ask, right? So be there for them, show up for them, support them, refer them, and then ask for that deeper discount. Increase your margins. And don't overpromise. So when you're negotiating deeper discounts, you're basically saying to them, okay, right now I purchase about $30,000 a year from you. Over the last 3 years, I've been pretty consistent. What does it look like for me to get a deeper discount? And they might say, you need to get to a $50,000 a year position in order to notch down to that next deeper discount, right? That's going from maybe buying the design discount to buying like more of a wholesale discount. If you're going to do that, you need to think about your resources, right? So you need to look at your annual sales to determine your capacity. So if your annual sales are 300,000 and this person needs 50,000, can you commit to that, right? Do you have enough flow to actually commit to that level of buying power year after year? Don't overcommit. So my idea is pick fewer vendors and go deep with them to get that best possible buying power. Instead of spreading yourself very thin and only buying small volume from numerous vendors, because then you're not going to get those deeper discounts, okay? Now, obviously, when you have the direct account and you have that incredible buying power, that is a great relationship. It's long-term, it's beautiful. For those vendors that you don't have that deep discount and that buying power, TDC is the amazing, incredible, like unicorn savior, because it's a buying group that allows you to buy at the discount of a shared designer in that group. So a designer in that group has that deeper negotiated discount, that buying power, and they're giving you entree to buy with them, right? They're giving you access to that deeper discount through their connection, through their guarantee of buying power. So you're going to have some of those direct relationships, right? For me, it was like five vendors that I have direct, deep discount. They are my bread and butter. And then I'm able to use a service like TDC to be able to use any product I want from any showroom anywhere, because I have that collective buying power as well. Does that make sense? Awesome. So when you're thinking about who you're buying from, you want to make sure that you can keep your designs fresh. So you want to make sure that you're buying from a customizable brand, someone who has a wide variety of inline fabrics, and accept COM. That's kind of an absolute necessity for me. I want to make sure that I'm not pigeonholed into a small collection of fabrics that I have to use over and over and over again if I'm going to guarantee that I'm going to have high sales with them to get that deep discount. And you want to look for someone who's got customization. So do they have finish options? Do they have sofas by the inch? Do they have hardware options? All of those things matter when you're using the same vendors over and over and over again, project after project, right? Because if somebody's customizable, like to that level, it never looks like the same sofa. You change the arm, change the leg, you change the finish, and you change the fabric entirely. So you don't want your portfolio looking tired because it's looking a little too much using the same thing over and over again. Also, we want to make sure with these vendors that we are looking for their track record for quality and customer service. It is so crazy important. So red flags in vendors, a lack of communication, right? If you have to chase this vendor around to get a response, to get a quote, to get a sample, to get follow-up on an open order, that to me is a huge red flag and is something that I probably won't want to be one of my dig in deep vendors, because I'm just not going to want to put up with that day in and day out all the time. And your dig in vendors, you are going to be working with very, very closely. Also, another red flag, anyone who doesn't stand behind their work or their products. So if there's a nick, a scratch, an issue, and they really are fighting you hard rather than seeing the long-term value of the relationship and standing behind their work, that's a no for me. Do you guys feel that way too? Yeah. Okay. And again, when you can't get that discount directly from the vendor, you don't have the buying power, it's not one of your dig-in vendors, obviously, join the Designers Collaborative, a buying group that really amazingly allows you to have access to so many more vendors and trades at an incredible buying power. It's literally, like I said, a magical unicorn. Okay, next up, you guys, building your expert trades team, right? That was mostly vendors, how we're gonna dig in hard, we're gonna get that better buying power, we're gonna vet them carefully, we're gonna use TDC for the rest. Again, buying power is everything. I just want to ram that one home. So here's right, you're selling to your clients at this level and your buying power is like 30% off, right? And let's say you dig in deeper, you get the 50% off, or you get the third, right? You're getting 2/3 off. All of the difference of all of that buying power is yours. The price has not changed to your client. You are not increasing pricing to your clients. You are increasing profits to you. There are only 3 ways to increase profit in your business, right? Decrease spending, increase your design fees, or increase your buying power. Increasing your buying power is my favorite one. It's the first one I start with when I'm working with designers, because it is not changing anything to your client. It is just improving your ability to make money while improving your relationship with your vendors. It's a win-win for literally everybody. And your vendors are happy because you're bringing them more volume, right? You're bringing them more jobs more consistently, more sales. Okay, digging back in. Woo general contractors into working together. So wooing, again, that is getting into know, like, trust, and flow with someone. So getting to know them, introducing yourself, making sure your vibe is good, that they're a good person, that they're on the same wavelength as you, that you like each other. Trust, right? Do your research. Make sure that you vet them. Call their references. Go see the actual work, all the stuff, right? And then flow is staying in touch. So how are we going to do this? We're going to identify and research the people. We're going to get them a personalized gift. That personalized gift is not personalized to me. It's not a House of Funk mug. It's something that is personal to them. It's something that says, I am getting to know you, right? And I get who you are. And I saw this little thing and I thought of you, right? A little gift goes a very long way, a little personal touch. Offer them help. Like I said before, right? Attend their event, help promote their event. Call them up and tell them, listen, I'm an interior designer. I help smooth out the communication process for design. I can be a real advocate. I really help run the meetings. I'm a big note taker, organizer, agenda maker, and my projects really flow beautifully. I handle kind of all the wiggle wobble between the contractor and the end user. I'd love to work with you, right? Offer them help, show them why you are a benefit to them. Okay, and vetting them. Again, call their references. Go see their work for yourself. One of my little ways that I've always vetted contractors is I try them out on small projects in my own home, right? As we're in the getting to know each other phase, I'm like, I have something I'd love to get done at my home. Is that something you'd be willing to do? I'd love to see how we flow. I'd love to get to know your team members better, the actual guys on site. Understand the quality level, just tell them straight out. I'd love to see you do a little bit of something around my own home if you have a project, and just get to know you better through that instead of starting with a big client project, right? Quality, customer service, and communication, if those are top notch, I will literally work with the same contractors for life. And once you find the good one and they resonate because they also see that you are about quality, customer service, great communication, right? You will jive, you will be in flow, you will be referring to each other. And trust me, when you end up working with a different contractor outside of your zone of favorites, you'll be like, oh, I really need, you'll be telling them how much you miss them. And they do the same to you, which is wonderful. So then woo and keep them. Show them love to maintain long-term relationships. Referrals, right? Bring them referrals just as much as they bring you referrals. Take them out to lunch, drop off pizzas and coffee and all the simple warm foods when it's wintertime on the job site and the guys are freezing their booties off, right? You're not just wooing the head guy, but everyone on the team, once you're working together, becomes part of your extended family. So when you treat them with respect and you give them, that woo, that extra, you show them the love, it goes an absolute long way, because those trades on the site, they really do, they're a family. They all work together. And just like if your lead designer said, oh no, I prefer this contractor over that contractor, you would listen because they're on the job site day in and day out. Same way, your general contractors are listening to their subs. They're listening to their electrician, their plumber, their tile guys. So treat every single one of them like absolute gold. All right, you guys, we threw an Attitude is Gratitude party every year for our vendors, trades, clients, architects, website developers, you name it. If you were involved in the House of Funk family, if you were somehow involved in making our world go round, you were at this party. And and potential clients too, don't forget. Past clients, happy clients, and potential clients. And it is the most fun to watch the past clients hugging and talking to the tile guy who spent, 3 weeks on his knees creating this gorgeous inlaid mosaic for their shower floor. And they think about how the craftsmanship every single day, right? To see them reunited, because these contractors are in their homes for 6 months, 18 months, 3 years if they're building it from scratch. And they really do form a bond, but they don't necessarily stay in touch. How amazing for everyone to reconnect at an activity or an event that you're throwing. Could be a party, could be, some charity work that you're doing that you invite everyone to pitch in and join in. Could be that you're all going to go to something that's like a town event or a town thing that you support, and you're rallying the troops and saying, hey, I'm going to be there. I'd love to see you there. And you just rally everyone to an event that you don't have to throw, right? It doesn't always have to be coming out of your pocketbook, but getting together. And then don't forget, putting the potential clients together with the happy clients basically are going to be signing a whole lot of jobs when that party is over. It's a great way to keep everyone in flow. All right, the other thing that's so important is to set expectations. So have conversations about what it looks like to work with you rather than reacting to issues. So this is one of my favorite things to do with just about everything, but it goes a really long way. So have a document that outlines project standards. So for us, it's, do not park in the client's driveway. No smoking whatsoever anywhere on the job site. Don't use the client's microwave without asking. I had a painter blow up some tinfoil wrapped leftovers that he had no idea were going to light on fire inside of a client microwave. Not ideal, right? And listen, if there's a microwave on the job site because it's winter and their guys are doing it, then and it's allowed, that's fine. Usually we'll bring a little microwave to a job site and not use the brand new installed Viking or Wolf or whatever it is, right? But all those little nitty picky things, I've been around job sites long enough to know what the list is. So why don't I just tell everyone up front before we start the job instead of reacting to it after? You know, getting the phone call from the client saying, listen, I'm running late, my house is under construction, and the last thing I need is some work truck blocking me in, so I'm late for work, or I'm late to the kids, you know, Christmas pageant. You know, these are the things. And when we don't have that conversation ahead of time, it gets really sticky. So have that conversation first. Everything is smooth, everyone is happy. Include how to protect the client relationship. Again, so client relationship, one of the things that happens, the guys who are in the house laying the tile talk to the clients who are zipping by and are peeking in, right? But it's so important to set expectations about how this is going to go down. When the client says, oh, I don't know, are they too close together? Or I'm not sure, they look really far apart. And there's a conversation happening between a trade and a client off the cuff, in person, on a job site, right? There needs to be clear methods on what happens. The contractors need to know that any conversations between the client that involve any kind of design decision, there is not a, yeah, sure, we can make it tighter, or yeah, sure, we can make it looser, and then off they go. They must document it. They must bring it to the team's attention. Everyone must have a conversation and make a group decision, right? Those little, oh, we just changed it on the job site, that never works. I had a situation where I was doing a custom piece of art over a client's mantle with a metal worker. He's incredibly talented, absolutely gorgeous. This client loves her one-off, unique, detailed things, right? So he was doing some metal work in the house in addition to this piece of art. So he was on the job site installing some of the metal work, and the client and he had a conversation about the piece of art, and they changed a whole bunch of it between each other without me present. Well, the day that the metal worker installed that art, the client couldn't stand it. The scale had shifted, the colors weren't right with the rest of the things that had gotten installed in the room since they had that conversation. She'd forgotten, you know, the details, the minutia, and she hated it. And she told me she wasn't happy with it. She didn't like it. It wasn't blah, blah, blah. Well, I turned to the metal worker and said, this isn't what I ordered. Here's the scaled drawing with specific colors approved. This is what I ordered. And he was like, yeah, but we had a conversation and da-da-da. And I said, I'm sorry. You are in business with me, not with her, right? I am buying this custom piece of art from you and selling it to her. You don't have a business relationship with the end user. Therefore, the conversation that you had and didn't run by me and get approved by me is null and void. You need to deliver this piece of art to me for this relationship to work. And this poor metal worker did it to himself, but he had to remake the art entirely because he needed to deliver what I designed and what was approved. And in the end, what the client actually loved, because I was looking at it from a whole room perspective, she was looking at it today as this room is, that feels overwhelming. Well, the mantle wasn't in, the scale wasn't, you know, everything shifts, right? So we really need to give those expectations. It's so crazy important. All right, it benefits both clients and contractors, right? It really smooths out the relationship across the board. So to recap, we're going to build a network of vendors, right? Once we know who your people are, you're going to dig in. You're going to give them so much love. You're going to bring them referrals. You're going to show up to their events. You're going to woo them. You're going to just shower them with affection and make sure that they feel appreciated and they also want to work with you more as well too. You're going to build your expert trades team. You're going to vet, woo, and keep those incredible contacts once you make them. And you're going to set expectations, right? And again, those stories of when they have conversations without you there, or they're parking in the driveway, or they're smoking in the bathroom, all the things, not good. Have those conversations first. So you guys, today was just the tip of the iceberg of what I provide inside the interior design standard, both when it comes to vendors and trades, and then so much more. In fact, we have an entire module dedicated to vendors and trades inside the program. But like I said, so much more. And if it's all right with you, I'd like to take a few moments to share with you all of what's inside the interior design standard. And then we're going to get to your questions, okay? So I'm going to start with why I created it. My business was growing. I had this great team. I moved into an adorable studio and I was landing projects and getting press. And then I hit my business rock bottom. I had 3 wonderful projects fall apart, one after another after another. And it was time to look within. So I was on my way home from speaking at a design conference with Luann. Here we are in a little picture of us way back then. And in the airport, I received the call from my team, the 3rd client calling to tell me that they were going to take it from here, which when I used to charge hourly, and that basically means you're fired, by the way. So Luann turns to me and she asks, well, what's the common denominator? I know you've had these 3 projects fall apart. Like, what's going on? And obviously, you guys, like a good Taylor Swift song, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. Yeah. I was the common denominator. I was, right? These 3 projects just completely fell apart. And then I realized what it was. I had clawed my way to my ideal clients, right? To these big, beautiful projects, but my business was not ready. What worked with my smaller, little teeny weeny projects did not fly with my larger ideal clients. Plus, I was letting my clients determine the timelines and the budgets, not me, the expert. They came into my sandbox, right? Into my business, and they wanted to tell me how to play. But at the end of the day, you guys, that wasn't their fault. I wasn't giving them structure. I wasn't explaining things clearly. I wasn't setting expectations and boundaries right from the start. And boy, did I figure out how to do that. I even considered throwing in the towel, like had to let an employee go. You guys, these were 3 big projects. Like I didn't have the workflow to sustain this extra employee. I had a big team at the time. I was afraid I wasn't going to cut it, and I was terrified that I would fail. And I had to figure it out. So my quest began. I pulled over for months to workshop my entire business. I hired all the experts, a lawyer, a business consultant, and a mindset coach, because I wanted to truly understand my client's experience and to create a business that worked for me and that I would totally love. Again, 3 large projects, 3 clients in a row, not having a good experience with me, not understanding the process, not understanding the flow. So I created a completely new method to run my design firm. And my business transformed to joyful, profitable, and thriving, to a portfolio full of completed projects. Here is a picture of me photographing a project. I used to get the projects to like 80%, and then the client would run out of money or the ability to make decisions. Now, complete projects. They are designed to completion from the very beginning, which turns into referrals filling the pipeline, right? Happy clients with completed homes that they can actually entertain in turns into buzz on the street. And once you get those referrals really rolling, things shift. You go from standing on the front porch hoping to get the job to standing on the front porch deciding if this is one of the ones you're going to take on, right? Going from sales to hand selecting the next project you're going to work on is a fabulous shift, and I want that for you. And my life transformed, right? To taking dream vacations, to having time with my daughters, to feeling confident and successful. Successful is a very hard word to feel successful. It's a hard thing to put my finger on, but maybe being on vacation and learning to surf is one of it, right? Like having my business locked down so well that I could actually go on a vacation and do something like take a surf lesson instead of sitting on the beach trying to see my laptop with the glare of the sun. Have you all been there? All right, I knew I couldn't keep this all to myself. My design besties wanted to know more, but I couldn't give them bits and pieces. It literally all threads together. So I created the standard so I could give them everything. And again, it's an entirely new method to transform your business. And we really cover all the bases. It's the tech to catapult ahead, pricing, attracting ideal clients, streamline processes. This is the meat and potatoes, you guys. You guys, I'm not in Jersey anymore. It is not just processes like you think about. It is every single step that it takes to go from a potential client to a completed project, with every email template in between, all of it, pricing calculator, all of the details, right? Improving your buying power and trade relationships, like we just talked a little bit about. This goes deep with all of the very specific methods on doing that, email templates, all of it. And developing your dream team, full hashed out HR module to really help you hire, write, manage the team, watch the structure of the team and how they interact, all of it. And I went through this so you don't have to. I spent well over $100,000 and months fixing my business. I have the proven process and I've worked out all the kinks, right? Not only do you save the time and money that I've spent developing it, you save the years of trial and error, of making those mistakes and going back to the drawing board. Trust me, I remember I would have 3 different clients on 3 different contracts because I kept iterating and changing and trying different things. And frankly, I was confusing myself and not making enough money. So we're better together. So I added a bonus, which is 3 months inside of our members only community. And Liz says, the standard has connected me with a wonderful group of designers who I can discuss business with. She's got an incredible group of designers that they kind of all travel together and work together. Then I brought in the best to share their knowledge with 4 expert bonus lessons: budgeting for profit with Peter Lang, mindset matters with Jordan Gill, automating for success with Nicole Heimer, and closing the sale with Luann Nigera. And because I wanted you to completely catapult ahead, I added yet another bonus: accountability groups. Danielle says, our accountability group still meets twice a month to connect and share. This is such a huge bonus. To support you to the finish line, we added another 3 community calls. And Elena says, I literally quadrupled my income this year, and I owe it all to you and what you taught me in the standard. Crazy. Okay, so our bonus that we talked about earlier is the first 3 people to enroll in the standard before this workshop ends, and we're going to stay on and do Q&A, will receive a custom brand audit. So again, that's me personally assessing your website, Instagram, and offering valuable insights and strategies for a stronger online presence. And that's valued at $1,300. So if you're on the fence about doing the standard anyway, go ahead and do it right now, because this brand audit is fantastic. It's so important to have someone else look at your branding from outside of your firm, because it's so hard to see what's going on with our branding ourselves, because obviously we're too close. We know ourselves too well. Okay, so again, I'm going to review your website user experience. One of my past loves was website usability. I'm going to review your Instagram clarity, your messaging, your mission, your vision, your values. Is it clear who is the person to work with you? I'm going to give you a thorough personalized write-up and one-on-one attention. You guys, I want to go through what you get inside the standard. So you get the 6 standard modules. Again, they run deep and wide. There's so much in there. It's a $34,000 value. There's a members only community, a $3,000 value. 4 expert lessons, $4,000 value. The accountability groups, $1,500 value, though I would argue more. And 3 community calls with me, where we're going to really talk through what you're struggling with, what you're dealing with, and really get to find those accountability groups, a $2,500 value. So then I wrapped this all up and I was like, what have I done? This course was evaluated for pricing and came back at $45,000. And I knew I had loaded it up with everything that I could ever imagine you would need to run an incredible design firm, but I knew that was too much. This could not be a premium product for the few. This had to be a grossly underpriced premium product for the many. I know that I needed this product when I was, a couple of years into business, when I was really struggling to figure out exactly how to do the pricing, the systems, the client experience. And I could not have swung $45,000 at that time. So we are priced at $4,499 with lifetime access. Once you are a standard member, you are always a standard member, and a risk-free guarantee. So if you do the work and show me that you have gone through the program and tried it out with a client and it does not work for you, 100% money back. So my question is, are you a 1 or a 2? Are you a 1? I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm going to figure out my pricing. I'm going to figure out the process. I'm going to figure out the client experience. I'm going to figure out how to get better buying power. Or are you a 2? Implement my proven method, all templated and ready to just drop right into your firm. It's time to make a decision. So don't let today pass without consciously deciding if you'll change the way you run your business. And obviously for us, we know 800 designers in over 20 countries, they are running better businesses, quadrupling their profits, just gaining this immense sense of community and all growing together. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I am going to open it up to questions and I can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you, Sandra. I have a few questions already, so I'll start asking you them if that's okay.
Yeah, great.
Okay, the first question is, do you work with high-end vendors that only give 15 to 20% discount?
No, I work with high-end vendors that give 30 to 50 to 2/3 discount. So really want to do your research and meet a lot of vendors, talk to a lot of vendors, ask a lot of questions. You know, sometimes I'm chasing down the incredible special light fixture, and it's wonderful to have a resource like TDC to help you with that buying power, because I'm not going to dig in on this one vendor for years and years to come at high volumes and be able to buy my way into great discounts. But then there are vendors where, for instance, I have Vanguard, which is super custom, high-end, residential furniture to the trade only. And years ago, I was going through this process of really trying to dig in deep and get that better buying power, and had the conversation with them and found out what the buy-in was. And I think at the time it was $30,000. You had to make one order of $30,000 to get to that next level of discount. And then you had to maintain $30,000 per year ongoing to keep it. And so I went through the process of saying, okay, one $30,000 order. At the time, I was like, all right, that's not one project for me at the time. It was like a couple of projects before I kind of bumped to that next level. And I just was super strategic about it. I knew I needed some things in my house. My mother wanted to do her house, and I was like, we're going to do my house and your house when I have another client that I know wants to do some furnishings, and the three of us together are going to get that buying power, and we're going to be able to do it. And then I knew I could sustain 30,000 over the course of a year, but I needed that opening order. So you have to ask all the questions. You really have to understand what your buying power capabilities are. And then you have to be strategic with those opening orders. And again, just keep talking. You can, everyone is different. Everything is a negotiation. So you can say to them, okay, I don't think I'm going to have a $30,000 single order in the next 6 months, but I think I'm going to get to like 45, but with 3 different orders. Would you work with me? Right? Like constantly conversation, right? It's not black or white. These salespeople want you to be the one who digs in and brings a lot more volume and a lot more buying to their firm. So they often will work with you.
Thank you. That's awesome. When going deep with vendors, how many would you encourage when beginning?
Just go one at a time until you feel like, okay, I've got that under control. Like we've got it. I like having like 5 really deep discounts, personal relationship with vendors. And that's plenty for me. And then the rest, again, I use TDC for my buying power across the board for the rest.
Is the standard appropriate for a brand new designer who is not up and running yet?
We have tons of designers inside the standard who started their businesses on the standard. Like they came out the gate like you are, brand spanking new and wanting to start it right. And so one thing that I'll tell you about the standard is that lifetime access means that you'll go through it the first time, and maybe you'll just get the structure of your pricing and your contract and your potential client process like super nailed down. And then you'll have a project, right? And then it's time to really get your processes nailed down and walk them through that project. So it grows with you. I have designers, we update the program every 6 months. We go through it, we make updates, we make improvements, we add resources, and we essentially relaunch every 6 months. So I have designers that go through it every single 6 months. They go back through it. And every time they say to me, oh, I just pick up these little nuggets, either new stuff or stuff that was there before that was just, I wasn't ready for it. And maybe I added a team member and now the HR module really hits. But before I was working as a one human show, right? So the idea that it's lifetime access means it grows with you and it comes with you. But out of the gate, getting your potential client process right, getting your pricing right, understanding how to get good vendors and trades and like where to go for that, it's invaluable. It's absolutely appropriate for a new designer.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thank you for sharing. Do you ever host the Attitude is Gratitude party?
Do I ever host it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was our annual, like we would have it early November. Right now I'm on hiatus from design. We moved across country with teenage girls in the middle of the pandemic, and I wrapped up all the projects I was working on that started pre-pandemic. I just wrapped them up like what, 3 months ago maybe. So I have not put my foot out into the design world in Tennessee yet. So I'm not currently throwing the party like this year. But yes, it is such a fun, just such a wonderful, like when I first came up with it, everyone was like, no one puts the past clients with the potential clients, with the vendors, with the trades, with the marketing people. And I was like, yeah, no, it can all work, right? It can all work. And if you're a person with integrity and have a good people around you, it works beautifully. So would I host it again? Yes, I would love to. Am I hosting it this year? No, we're on a little hiatus from that.
Could you expand a little bit more on what the party might look like in another location if you weren't hosting?
Oh, in another location. So we were just talking about this. I had a mastermind group today, and we were just talking about this. Like, if you don't have your own location or don't want to throw it in your own home, partner with other businesses in your community that share the same ideal client. So, for instance, if there's a builder and architect that have office space that share similar dream clients, and you share projects and things, you could host something like this together. You could even host it with, I've partnered up with florists that are high end and that really have the same dream clients as I do. They often have a beautiful studio, would love to have your roster of all these incredible people find out about their floral studio, and they could come in. Same thing with a high end, oh, it's gone. What's it called? Caterer. So if they have event space and they would love to be introduced to your high-end, beautiful email list of clients, vendors, trades, so just think about partnerships. Like, think about who would benefit from my list, my network, and do they have a space, and would they be willing to collaborate? I think that mindset comes from all my years of doing like volunteer work and always trying to partner and put people together, because we were always trying to fundraise and not spend a ton of money on these events, but always throwing events. And it was always through partnerships and collaboration. And like, who would benefit from you bringing all your past clients and potential clients and builders and architects who have all these lists too? So think outside of the box and partner, partner, partner.
Definitely. Do you offer or provide live calls with people inside the standard?
No, I do not. So the standard is, again, because our numbers are so big, we have an incredible customer service team. Lydia, who is speaking to you right now, is top of the list of customer service. And but our customer service is provided via email. So there's very specific ways that you get in touch. We also have an incredible Facebook community, so you can post your questions there, and the whole community will answer you. In addition to, like, we chime in. I go live in the Facebook group quite regularly to just weigh in on topics and questions. But if you have specific customer service issues, like my login's not working or I can't find something, that's email customer service back and forth between our team. But again, we don't have live phone customer service at this time. We would just need to change our business model, frankly. We would have to have a kind of different team, different model. So this is a digital product, and we provide customer service digitally as well.
When a client has a preference on a vendor or trade, but you are not familiar with their quality of level of work, how do you express to the client it's best to work with your circle of subs and vendors without burning a bridge with the client?
So I think a part of it is positioning, right? Telling them that you have a vetted list of vendors and trades and craftspeople that you just adore, and that you've worked with over time, that you've vetted, that you communicate well with, that work well together. You're sort of a dream team, and that it really is synergistic and easy and good for the flow of the project to work with the dream team that you have in place now. And if they have someone, it's their cousins, brothers, uncles, mama's boyfriend that they just need to work with, then you need to make sure that you are vetting them, that you are, checking their work, checking their references, seeing their work in person, checking their communication abilities, looking at having some terms in writing. We have a we have a vendor relationship contract inside of the standard that helps to identify things like how we're going to work together. What is the communication going to look like? Who's going to do what? All of those things, all those guidelines I was talking about earlier. So like today we talked about this is how it should look, but inside the standard, it's like, and this is the contract that I actually send out with all the specific details inside of it. But you really need to vet them, because now you're not just vetting the client and do you think you'll get along well with the client, but you're vetting the client that comes with a contractor. And you need to be able to say yes or no, right? If it's filled with red flags and it's not a good scene, I would not take that project on. And I would say to the client, I'm having, it's not a fit. Me and the contractor are not a fit. So I am open to working with you if you're willing to work with one of my recommended, but if not, I can't work with yours. So you do have to walk away from the project if they are hell bent on working with a not great contractor. And I have done that. I have had a client pull in a contractor that was not licensed, not doing it right, not a good person, like you name it. If there was a red flag to be had for a contractor, they were throwing them in spades. And I had to go to the client and say, I am pulling myself from this project. I need you to sign up. My lawyer drafted a release. You have to sign off here that you're able to use my designs that you've already paid for, but I will not be held responsible for the installation, the quality of work. I will not be on the job site. I cannot expose my business to this kind of liability. And so we did a legal document where I walked out of the project. That project was all built and started with one contractor and they switched it at the last minute. It was a really bad scene. So again, I extricated myself, but you have to protect yourself. And these projects are not, 15 minutes. They're not 3 weeks. These projects are long-term and they can have legal ramifications. So you need to know who you're working with from a contractor standpoint. It has to be good people.
Definitely. Sandra, can you talk a little bit about going through a multi-brand showroom versus directly to each wholesaler?
Yeah, definitely. So a multi-brand showroom are wonderful if you are not close to a design center where you can be in individual one-on-one trade showrooms. It can be very helpful from a place when you're new of starting to place orders and starting to figure out who's who. Again, if you're close to like the D&D in New York or Atlanta Mart or the Mart in Chicago, you're going to go there instead. So you can have a direct relationship with to the trade only vendors. But if you're not close to that and it's not possible for you, then these collaborative trade showrooms can be great. Just know what you're gaining in convenience and maybe even in they might even place orders on your behalf. They might even do procurement. What you're gaining in that convenience, you're giving up in profit margin, in discounts, right? In the depth of discount, which is fine. So there's times when that's perfect and it works, right? And there's times when that's not right. So you gotta just look at what's right for you. One other thing I would just caution you, I've had the situation where I bought something through a design center, and therefore, when I finally had grown my business and gotten big enough to go and want to open my own account direct with that vendor, I did not qualify to open a direct account because I had purchased through that design center. So there sometimes is a deal where the design center kind of owns you, shall I say. So some vendors will not open an account with you if you've purchased through a design center, because that is sort of a territory thing. So just ask all your questions, do all the research, understand what you're getting into before you dive in, right? And the one thing I would tell you, and I dive much deeper into this inside the standard as well, is really please do not be afraid of buying to the trade. It is your right. It is, even if you are a non-licensed, non-degreed designer. I do not have a degree in design. My husband's job moved midway through me taking my design courses, and I thought I would go back to school, and instead my career took off, and so I never circled back on it. It's just fine. I also my business never slowed down or demanded that I stop and get like a licensed program, right? So you do not need to have a degree or a license to buy to the trade. It is, sometimes I see designers hesitate that like, well, I'm not a real designer, so I can't buy to the trade. That is not true. You need to, in your local jurisdiction, state, country, wherever you are, you need to figure out the right paperwork so that you are, you know, you have a tax ID, that you are registered as as someone who purchases goods at wholesale and sells them at reasonable retail pricing, which is a whole nother deep discussion that we're not getting into right now. But you just need to have your taxes set up right and your LLC and your tax ID in order to buy to the trade goods in most jurisdictions. But again, ask your questions, do your research. It is a complete game changer. If you are currently purchasing retail and you move to purchasing to the trade goods, your customization expands, your buying power expands, your profit expands, your unshoppability expands. I mean, it is a total game changer, and I really do want to press you to look into it if you're not already.
Before I ask the next question, I wanted to say congratulations to Jennifer, who just enrolled in the standard and will be receiving the custom brand audit.
Congrats! I'm so excited. Welcome to the standard. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. You are going to be just blown away by how much detail and how much hand-holding and how much community love the standard is about to bring to your business. I'm thrilled to have you on board. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next question. Someone asked, how can I strategically position myself to gain visibility and engage with professionals in the interior design industry, particularly those who are potential collaborators for building custom furniture products?
So, okay, you need the woo. So what you want to do is make sure that you are attending design events, that you are showing up in this design world that we are in. Go to the conferences, go to the events, go to market, be present, talk to everyone, meet everyone, do that networking thing. If you are an introvert like me, that might look like being in a mastermind. So it's a smaller group conversation instead of like working a room at a party. Or maybe it's, I like to just kind of have these like small one-on-one relationships where the whole woo thing, right? I get to know, I kind of identify who I want to partner with, who I'm interested in getting to know. I do my research on them. I find out a little something special about them. I send them a little gift or a little note. I start to promote them and support them. And I just sort of show up in their world as a friendly, giving, supportive, admiring presence. And then, you know, when I see them at the design conference and I say, oh, Kristen, it's so nice to meet you in person. I've been such a huge fan and I'm a follower and I love what you're doing. And she goes, oh, of course, Sandra, you know, thank you so much for that little tiny thing you sent them. So sweet. Oh yeah, of course. Da, da, da. I mean, I cannot tell you how this woo process works, right? Of just determining who you think would be a good partner for you to build your business, from an architect to a builder to a referral partner to someone who collaborates with you on your furnishings. And then just be a supportive presence in their world. And it really does go a very long way. And show up for them. And if they're throwing a party, attend it. If they're doing philanthropy, support it. If they're posting, repost it, right? It can be as simple as that. But show up in their world, be supportive, offer help, be a voice of encouragement to them. And it is highly likely that that you'll be in partnership sooner than you realize.
Someone just asked, if we sign up today, where can we begin the content? Or sorry, when can we begin the content for the standard?
Sure. So signing up today, again, you're going to dive right into the marketing analysis. What is that thing called? The brand audit. Thank you. So I'm going to dive right into the brand audit, and you'll have that within a few weeks. So you'll have some like marketing stuff to crunch on. We also have some pre-work that is beautiful kind of standard project details that you go through, and those will be emailed to you at intervals as we wait. The actual full standard drops in mid-March. So I think it's March 20th. you have to correct me if I'm wrong on that. But, and that's when every single detail opens up and all the modules and the whole group community calls start kicking off and we're all going through it together. So yeah, but this is a wonderful thing if you are on the fence to put on your Christmas list, to gift yourself now, to reduce your taxes, right? This is a complete business expense, completely write-offable. Super secret. We haven't even really announced it yet, but I'm going to tell you in this room only. But we also have recently gotten the standard CEU certified. So if you are IIDA, ASID, blah, 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 and you need continuing education, the standard does qualify for that. So you are going to be able to get credit for that. So again, great Christmas wish list item, gift for yourself. Great way if this is the end of the year, right? We've got a couple of weeks left and you're killing it and you want to reduce taxes. The standard is a wonderful way to have a nice business expense to bring your tax obligations down right before the end of the year here. All the things. And yeah, there's plenty to crunch on until we get to March, which is going to be here before we know it, by the way. This time is flying by.
Line.
Yeah, but love to have you join us. Please do.
A little bit of a different subject. Do you find large construction companies are better or smaller independent GCs?
Doesn't matter. It's about the person. It's about the company's integrity for me. I mean, integrity, right? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Do they walk the walk? Do they hire on their vision and their values so that from the company head to the guy swinging the hammer, they all share the same vision, the same mission? And again, that mission should be quality, customer service, and communication. Those are the values that I'm looking for in a contractor. And it doesn't matter if it's one guy who works his booty off and is incredible, or if it's a very big company. I've worked with the one guys, Dino, to the big guys, Silver, and I love them all. Yeah. And they're also, when you have that scale in your Rolodex, you also scale it to the projects, you know? So it's good to go for both.
Thank you. These are all the great questions we have today. Heather, do you want to hop on and share a little bit more about the Designers Collaborative before we end?
Oh, thank you so much, Sandra. That was amazing as always. Well, I can come back on here. Hey, everybody. All right. So, yeah, really great. The woo is so important. You know, it's key. It makes you memorable and all the other things that you said, like there was just tons of good information. So I'm sure everyone got great stuff out of this. So the Designers Collaborative, just give you very quick about this. So we have 500 members all across the US, Canada. We've got somebody in Alaska, we've got somebody in Hawaii, and we even have a couple in Virgin Islands. So, you know, that is the community in which we serve. So if you are a designer, stager, or decorator, I vet everybody who comes in. I want to make sure that you are a professional working in the industry, and then it's just a quick application. It is $5.99 for the year, and you make that back in one order, one rug, and you have made your money back because we offer 300 vendors at stocking dealer price. So just to give you an idea, when you're going to a store, you're going to get 10%. When you go to a design center, you're generally getting about 20%, give or take. With the stocking dealer, you're making easily 50 to 70%, sometimes more. Sometimes you can be like 300% because it's a sofa. They can't find it anywhere else. You can put whatever price you want on it. And it's a tremendous way to have the creative freedom of 300 vendors to choose from. So you don't have to dive deep and open every account yourself. Yeah, but we also, we welcome you to. Like Sandra is a member, and so she's not going to buy Vanguard through who we have set up because she needs to make her minimums too. So you know, you do what's best for you with the vendor and the situation that you have. You know, in my design business, occasionally I still bring people to a store, because if you're the nervous Nelly and this is really more of a consultation, it's not really like full design, then I'm going to bring you to the store because I'm not dealing with your hassle. You know, and so it will vary, but you can make a tremendous amount of money. Then there's all this community and education and other things that we do. So yeah, the Designers Collaborative has a website, and this is all being recorded. So I will email everyone who has registered with this. I'll make sure you have Sandra's link so you can get into the standard. And I'll put in some information about the Designers Collaborative with our website if you want to learn more. So thank you so much, Sandra. This was awesome. Thank you, Sandra's team, for being here for all the tech stuff. And thank you everyone who attended. So I hope everyone has very happy holidays.
Same. Thank you so much, Heather. This is incredible always.
Mhm.
It's just been an honor to be with you. Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.